So thinking about wisdom, it's an interesting concept because, of course, wisdom is not about just knowledge or data or information. Those are important, of course. You need data, you need information, you need knowledge. You need to have sort of insight, like seeing where things are starting and where they have to get. And then wisdom is like knowing the way how to get from the beginning to the end. Okay, so that's wonderful. And here is an interesting description in the book of Isaiah that describes a wise government in time of trouble, when Jerusalem is under siege or they are expecting a siege. And this is Isaiah 22 from verse 9. And you saw that the breaches in the wall of the city of David were many. So Jerusalem's wall had plenty of holes and breaches. It was not able to protect from an onslaught. And you collected the waters of the lower pool. So preparing for siege, you want the city to be well stocked with water and food and all that's needed. Then you counted the houses of Jerusalem, not for a census, but for another purpose, and you tore down houses to fortify the wall. So basically, they did like a selection which house, and then they used that material to plug the breaches in the wall to actually make the wall solid. And you made a reservoir between the two walls for the waters of the old pool. Okay, so they are stocking the city with water. They are strengthening the walls. This is wisdom, you know. The enemy is coming soon. We are in trouble. We need to plan. We need to plan better. This is our defenses are not right, not satisfactory. So we need to plan. Okay, so this is wise planning. Okay, this is great. But then there is a very strong statement here. You made a reservoir between the two walls for the waters of the old pool. But then it says, but you did not depend on him who made it, nor did you take into consideration him who planned it long ago. And basically Isaiah is saying, you guys are awesome. You guys are good planners. You guys are wise leaders. You guys are a good leadership. And actually, honestly, when there are elections today, I think we would be happy with those kind of, if we had those kind of politicians, we would say, yeah, that's wonderful. That's what I'm voting for because they are wise leaders. They know how to get from A to B and they will make it happen. So they're just effective. That's like great, unusual, unexpected, sort of, sadly. But then Isaiah says something else. But have you considered God? Okay, so you're wise. You know how to get from A to B. That's great. But have you considered God? Have you considered that God is the one who built this city? Have you considered that God is the one who gave you that water? Have you considered that God is the one who has given you this country? Have you asked him about that? Because he actually has a plan, and he says it here, nor did you take into consideration him who planned it long ago. Have you asked him who actually has a plan? And this is such an important point. And this is actually how many believers will act more wisely than really, really wise people in the world, okay? And this may sound ridiculous, but maybe you as a believer, you're not so good at gathering the data, discerning the information, internalizing it to have knowledge, and then maybe you're not so good at having insight. Where do we start? Where do we have to go? And maybe you're not so wise as to say, oh, this is the path from A to B, and this is how we get over here. Okay, maybe you cannot do that, but you can say this in your heart: I will depend on him who made all of this, and I will take into consideration him who planned all of this long ago. I will say in my heart, God, will you please lead my next step? And you take a step, 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 trusting God. And eventually you get to be maybe even faster than the other person. And they say, how are you so wise? And the answer is, well, I'm just trusting God, and I'm just relying on him. And this is such a challenge for our hearts, because yes, sure, of course, like be smart about your decisions and learn to and ask God to have wisdom, as James 1, I think verse 5 says. But also learn to depend on him who made all of this, to whom your life matters. Learn to say, I'm going to take you into consideration, Lord, because you had a plan for this a long time ago. And that is ultimate wisdom, actually, according to the Word of God. God bless your day.